Back here again, Radio Row, Jake Delhomme, Jonathan Stewart, and the great Deuce McAllister of the New Orleans Saints, who is now the color analyst for the New Orleans Saints.
Oh, nice.
And he does a really, really good job. I don't want to kind of blow his head up too much, but he really does a good job. He's got a good pulse.
Jay Stu, I am so sorry that you have had to deal with this young man all day. You know,
Young man?
Yeah, this young man. He's a young man. He's still a young man.
Oh, 50?
You know, well, he's still young. He still will want to get up on a horse, and I don't know if that'll ever change. And so it's like, what are you doing? But he will still try to get up on a horse, and, you know, he wants to talk to the horse. And he just
Absolutely.
Wants to,
Did you ever name a horse after Deuce?
I did not yet. I still have a lot more left to name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You never know.
But no, I love him. He's great person, and so I end up meeting so many people that know him. And then, you know, as further you go west, that's Jake's territory. But they're moving and migrating more east and more north Louisiana. So, man, it's a pleasure to be on. And I see this young man, and, you know, I'm happy. And your career, you know, what you were able to do, you and D'Angelo. And, you know, I met D'Angelo when he was back coming out of Memphis. Mm-hmm. And we were recruiting D'Angelo, try to get him down to Oxford, but he was not leaving the 901. And he kind of told you that as well in so many words. And so, man.
That sounds just like him.
Oh, that's him all day. him all day. And so followed your career, followed his career, and obviously got to know Jake. Jake was a little bit older than me, but I knew after getting drafted by the Saints, you know, try to find out who this guy is. Because he talks funny like me, but his funny is a Louisiana funny. And so just really, really good guy.
Yeah, well, I want to say you a legend in your own. Like, watching you, like, middle school, high school.
That's when you know you're old when they start.
I'm aging you.
Yeah, that's when you know they old. He starts saying middle school, and then he ends up playing right there with you.
But it was awesome to see, you know, the bigger backs. You know what I'm saying? Because when I was growing up, you know, as built as I actually was kind of insecure about what position I was playing.
Yep.
You know, I'm like, should I be playing running back? Should I be playing, like, on defense, linebacker or something? No, but I stayed the course, worked on, like, the hips, the agility, just being able to, like, be more elusive, you know. But seeing backs like yourself, man, it was an inspiration for me to just keep on going. So appreciate you.
No doubt about it.
All right. I'm going to start talking about the Panthers because you're going to talk about the Saints, right?
No, I can talk Panthers as well.
No, I know you can. So did you think you were there week 1, right?
Yep.
Carolina in New Orleans.
Yeah, I wasn't there, but I watched it.
And I think the Saints put up 47, and this looked like a Super Bowl team. Mm-hmm. And we struggled. Offensively, we struggled. Everything struggled for us.
Well, new system.
New system, everything.
Offense, yeah.
But, like, Bryce struggled again the next week, gets benched, and then we play Andy. We get a win. Andy's kind of solidifying some things. Then Bryce comes back. Did you ever think that you would see the Bryce Young that played at the end of the year was going to show up for Carolina?
Yes. And
why?
Well, the biggest problem that a lot of is the instant success. And when you think of instant success, it was supposed to happen immediately. And sometimes when I've got 14 ears or people in my ear, and so they think I have 14 ears, hey, Bryce, do this. Bryce, do that. Do it this way. Do it this way. Bryce, just be you.
Yeah.
Be you. I need some answers to the test, but I don't need all of these different people telling me this is the answer that I want you to have. And so you saw a player that didn't really play with confidence, not trusting himself. And then the other part, and you know it, this is not no knock on Carolina, or it just is what it is. All teams have it. Any quarterback, if he gets pressure early, he starts to see ghosts. And so when it's no pressure coming, I think pressure's coming.
Yeah.
So I'm not comfortable. And so I'm starting to get rid of the football, get rid of the dude. He needed a couple things. One, you needed to run the ball. And once you could just have a little bit of success running the football, now his comfort grows a little bit. Now I got to find a favorite target. And the one thing that Carolina kind of struggled with, who's this guy? Mm-hmm. Who can I trust? If he's supposed to be at 12, be at 12. Don't get to 14. Don't stop at 8. Because now we're not going to be on the same page. And now the other thing you start to see is the uncomfortable ball floats. my footwork gets funky, ball floats. Now his confidence drops. And so for him, he needed something good to happen. And I think being able to watch Andy, because we had Andy as well, and I know him, but being able to watch Andy and let the ball go, trust it, it was like, hey, I know what I know that play. I've heard that play. I've seen somebody else do it. I can do that. And so you saw a totally different player at the end of the year, a confident player. Yeah. I mean, and you knew he had it in him. The only question was, can he show it? Can he go and produce it? And then there's probably 3 or 4 games just off the top of my head where the other guys have to help him a little bit.
Sure.
And I'm just saying, just make a play.
Make a play.
We're not even talking about some incredible, hey, that's an ESPN type kid. It's just, you're pro.
The ball's there.
You're pro.
The ball's right there in your lap.
Just make a play. And so you don't have to go into detail about, hey, whatever. But those types of things he grows with and he can grow on. And so now you've got something. If I'm the coach, if I'm coaching him, look at your footwork. Look at it. Look at the throw. Look at that throw. That receiver X is going to be there every time you tell them to be there. And so that takes time. It's a process. But, yeah, it was no question that he could do it. The only question was, were you going to be patient enough to allow him to make some mistakes, but also to have him to let him have that success?
Yeah, you said something very interesting. Grow with.
Yeah.
Right? Because you said earlier with Steve, I got to grow with him.
He was a first-year receiver in his 3rd year, and I was a first-year starting quarterback. And we made mistakes, but
made them together.
We learned together. We grew together.
Yeah.
371 hitch. I call that play 55 times. I know exactly what Steve is going to do. And if I'm Jake, I see a look, I know exactly what Steve is going to do. Yep. He knows exactly where I'm going to put that ball. So that's where your receiver and your QB has to be able to grow. And it may be something that's off script. And Jake knows this. This may be something that's off script. We've practiced it. We've seen it. This is something we did 2 years ago, a year ago. Hey, go run this route, Steve. Mm-hmm. If he's playing you inside leverage, I'm going to put this ball right there. Your break on 14, the ball will be there. Don't worry about anything else. If it doesn't work, I'll take the heat. I'm the quarterback. I told you to do it. It didn't work. I'll take the heat. We go to the next play. If it did work, I'm the greatest thing out there, and it's just the growth.
So, all right, I'm a pivot, but I'm not going to pivot.
Come on.
NFC South.
Wide open,
all
and
right.
You guys are in, and you may think I'm joking. You guys, right now, if I had to put a hierarchy, it would be Baker right now. Most experienced quarterback, still a really good defense. Questions about OC. Next, I would put probably Carolina. Atlanta's not far because you got a young quarterback. New Orleans, there's a question mark. And it's really because this season, I don't even know from a quarterback standpoint. I know, I think it will be Derek, but I'm unsure. So if it's not Derek, New Orleans is kind of in a start over or how do we get started type. And
especially with the salary cap. So
you can make that work. But if you do, now I've got to have some deficiency somewhere else, defensively or offensively. I got to play some type of game, if that makes sense. You need a perfect storm almost if you're the Saints. And what I mean by that is from an injury standpoint, because I have good players. Some are, on the cusp of being elite, but I don't have a lot of lower-end depth. My lower-end depth are probably guys that can play in the NFL but are not ready to play extended time in the NFL.
I like that.
Yeah, and so, hey, this is a spot guy. He can finish a game for me. He can maybe play 1 game. But now I got to throw him out there for 9 games. Yeah. He's not ready for it.
No, I think you hit it on the head. Now, we're under the assumption that Kellen Moore, it seems like Kellen Moore is going to be the guy, the new head coach of the Saints. That's what all indications, we don't know yet. And that's the question, is Derek Carr going to be back or will they go in another direction?
I couldn't answer that today for you. I mean, here's what's interesting, though. You'll know by the first day or the 4th day of the new year, the new league year, because you have to be cap compliant.
Right.
There's 2 different scenarios for the Saints to get cap compliant. One, Derek's on your team. One, Derek's not on your team. There's really no other way for them to get cap compliant outside of those 2.
Wow.
What's your thoughts so far? I know it's only had 1 year, but Dan Morgan, player you played against, and y'all might have been on the same. Didn't he come to New Orleans at the end for a little bit? Then he hung it up.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he hung it up before camp. Yeah,
concussions and injuries. I like when we talk. I like what Dan has done. I like what he is doing. You've got to be your head coach and your GM have to be on the same page. I have to have, and some people, locally, nationally, whatever, I think Mr. Tepper has done a good job. He wants to win. He wants to win.
That's what people don't understand.
That's really cool that you see that from your vantage point.
Well, you hear all the other noise. That's noise. He wants to win.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you want to win, you get involved maybe a little bit too much. You've got pros. Let me, and being Dan, let me do my job. I just want tools. I need tools. I need people. I need tools to be able to do a job that I can do really well. And then the other part of it is being on the same page with Dave, coach. And so this is the type of person. This is the type of offense. This is the type of defense. Let's go find that player. Let's go find that player. Let's be able to build that player and that team. And Carolina got pieces. Yeah. I mean, Carolina's got pieces. It's just figuring out, are we on the same page offensively? Defensively, are we good? And then can we be elite in special teams? Because the way the game is played now, you're going to have a lot of one-score games. So if you're stinky on special teams and I can't depend on my kicker to make a 50 yards and in, that's got to be automatic these days. I mean, the kickers are too good. Right. If I can't depend on my kicker to make 50 yards and in, you're probably not elite on special teams, and that's just being honest. I mean, because you've got to be able to steal 2 games, 3 games just by, hey, it's a long field goal. It's a long field goal.
Well, Deuce,
I love
listening. Well, that's what I'm saying.
We could talk all day.
I know. I love it.
So he has a phone call with a guy named Kinger every morning at 5:30. I'm going to call you every morning at 5:30 so we can talk about
We're just going to talk shop. Football, college, basketball, whatever.
I like ball. I like talking ball.
That's
football.
Yeah.
I love talking ball.
It's
a lot of fun. Well, it shows in your broadcast. And because I listen, living in Louisiana, I hear him during the week, and things like that. And he's spot on. I mean, he's spot on. He sees it.
I enjoy teaching. He was one of my teachers. And so I enjoy teaching what I learned. And so even the coaching aspect of it, I have kids. And I want to be involved in what they have going on. And if you guys have been around it, coaches give up so much. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I want to commit to that. I would prefer to be involved in what they have going on. But I love to teach. And so to be able to talk about the game, teach the game, that's what I enjoy.
Well, you do a great job at it.
I appreciate it.
Thank you enough for stopping by.
Appreciate it, fellas. No problem. You guys be safe and have fun, too.
Yeah.